Austin is our speaker today. I'm going to read this super quick. Austin Rankin is a faith-based real estate coach and top-producing listing agent who has closed over 116 million in value in 4 years. He built a multi-six-figure listing-based business without buying leads or building personal brands, starting with zero sales experience. Today, he helps agents generate consistent listing appointments, filter out unmotivated prospects, and build six-figure businesses by so by simplifying what actually drives results. But in other words, I want to buy everything that Austin is selling in every single color twice over. That's how good he is on the phone. Um, it was really amazing to watch him. This is the second time he's back. It was really amazing to watch him, how he holds the conversations and how he twists well, he doesn't twist it. The funny part is he just asks those questions so nonchalantly that it really mind can I say, well, this is my own call, so I can use whatever words I want. Anybody less than 18 on this call? No? Okay, great. Mind fucks. Like, I have never seen someone be able to, like, his clients convince themselves to work with you based on how he formulates the sentences and the questions. So, one of the best sales coaches, Austin Rankin, also our Team Go agent partner, is here for the second time to teach us furthermore how to I don't want to say manipulate, but how successfully use words in a specific order that makes people take action. So, Austin, this is when I shut up. You take it from here. Thank
Well, I don't know if I can follow that. So thanks for coming, guys. Anyways, Gogo, thank you for having me back. Number one, I want to kind of give you guys context from before when I come on here. We went through kind of an overview. So anybody that was here before, you saw one part of that training that we went super deep on. That was the conversation, right? And for some reason, that's where we spent most of our time. And that's where people want to learn. And so what I'm doing today is I'm going to actually go much deeper on that conversation, how to structure that, how to ask the right questions, how to create those questions. And then you guys are going to walk away with actually tangible things that you can use. This isn't some fluff training that you're going to just hear these mindset, believe in yourself kind of thing. This is where you're going to walk away with actual structure, actual new skills and new strategies. So I need you guys to get out something to write with. You have to participate in this because I can't do these trainings if I don't have people participating with me. Okay. So I have your permission to talk to you guys and call you guys out and actually ask you questions. So
you.
put a
Yes.
one in the chat if that's okay. Sweet. And I love that there's a lot of people, which means there should be no reason it's silent. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and then we will get started. So let me see here. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Good.
Yes.
Well, I have you guys over here on this screen, and I'm looking at this one. So if you go back and forth, it's because I'm speaking to you on this side. So what I'm calling this today is the self-selling seller system. I know it's a tongue twister. However, this is something that I've developed over the last 4 years that has essentially taken me from an agent that I didn't even know what a cold call was to being the number one agent in my company by simply using something that every one of you guys are going to be able to use. This industry complicates things to a level that you get so overwhelmed and you don't know what to do first. And that's why people start to fail. That's why people don't get that analysis paralysis because you don't focus on what's most important. And what I can tell you is the most important thing you can do if you're a prospector is have conversations. Am I right? Does anybody in here currently cold call or want to get into it? Can you put a one in the
Yeah.
chat if you do? Okay, so we have a good amount of people. Some people put 11, so that's good. All
Those are
right.
the overachievers.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. So, for those of you, again, Gogo just introduced me very well, but I'm going to give you a little backstory. I am nobody special. I'll just tell you that right up front. I came from a little small town in the hills of Kentucky. To be honest with you, I didn't even have good vocabulary. I still to this day cannot spell. I'm terrible at spelling, but I can communicate at a level that you've probably never heard before. And I've done that because I mastered something. So I had no skills, I had no sales experience. I didn't come from a family that had anybody in sales, and I'd never made a cold call. And I was a really shy kid. I'm still a very introverted person, yet I can do this. So if I can do it, Every one of you guys on here that maybe you're scared to pick up a phone or you just don't know what to do, you guys are capable of it if I can do it. And in a matter of 4 years, I was able to sell almost 70 plus homes a year. I was the number one agent in my company, and I sold over $116 million in just a matter of 4 years by doing this one simple thing I'm showing you today. So be ready to take notes, right? You can take screenshots, whatever you need to do, because I'm going to come back to you guys and I'm going to start asking you questions. I'm going to test you guys on this because if you don't verbalize it, you don't remember it. Okay? So let's move on. Here's what you're going to learn today. I made it very simple. Instead of going through all these different systems and all these different steps, there's two things. Number one, I'm going to teach you the psychology behind selling. Not what you should do, but why you're doing it and why it works. Because this is not just in sales, this is actually psychology, how people make decisions. Number two is how to have natural conversations, not forced conversations, without sounding salesy. All right. I'm going to teach you how to avoid rejection. I'm going to teach you how to lead sellers to actually convince themselves that they want to work with you. Because again, remember, I hated being rejected. I had to figure out a way to avoid that, how to be more comfortable on the phone. And also, instead of me trying to sell them, I had them sell themselves. So coming from somebody who hated cold calling, that's why you guys are going to love this. So I want to hear from the group really quick before we get into the training. The ones that do prospect, the ones that do make calls, what's some of the biggest roadblocks that you guys are facing? Because what I want to do is during this training, I want to speak to that. I want to help you guys. So what are some of the things? Just put up your Zoom hand and tell me. I want to write these things down.
My Zoom hand.
I get call reluctance every time.
All reluctant. All right. Perfect. What else?
I think Chip was, yeah, go Chip.
I just think one of the things I struggle with is that when prospects tend to lean in, I lean in even further. Like I don't lean out to try to pull them back in. If that makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay. So you sound needy.
Or I'm just way too direct.
Okay. Needy or direct. Got it. What else?
Reps. I feel like right now, obviously with cold calling, you're only as good as the exposure that you have, right? Or the studying that you do. So I want more reps. I need more reps to have better swag.
Okay. So more reps, meaning like you want to increase your skill.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good one.
I don't
Is
want to
anything
bother
else?
them. I
Yeah.
don't want
I
to
don't want to
bother
bother them.
them.
That's amazing. Yeah. You're going to love this today then. All right. Anything else? What about objections?
Yeah.
Do you guys struggle with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Taking the bait.
Some, yeah, not all.
Yeah. What was that? The other one?
Taking the bait.
Mm. Mm-hmm. That's called happy years. You get happy years. You start to think that they're giving you what you want, so you jump all over it and then they ghost you. All right. Anything else?
Fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection. That's what I had. That's the biggest thing I had. Okay. Anything else?
Knowing what value to provide when you're following up over time.
Okay. Knowing your value. Yep.
I definitely struggle with my tonality. I sound very monotone on the phones.
Your tone. That's amazing. That is actually a big one. We're going to cover that today here in a minute. Any other big roadblocks that you guys can think of that you face during the prospecting phone call?
What to say?
What to say? Yep.
Adrian said how to bring their guard down.
Disarm them. Okay. We're going to cover about 90% of this. What I will tell you is the tonality, the getting the reps in, that kind of thing can't be covered in one training. And you guys know that, but I'm going to give you tools and stuff to actually be able to do this. Okay. So I'm going to try to keep that in mind as I go through it. And if you guys, as I'm training you on this, when you're taking notes, if you're like, oh, wait, that could help me. If you have questions, just ask. Raise your Zoom hand. I'll stop and I'll answer your question. We have what, an hour and a half?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm going to try to get through this because I've got a lot to go through. This is a lot of information, but it's very, very tangible. So we're going to go through it and I need you guys to stop me and ask questions. Got it? Okay, so here's the problem. Remember this. This is the problem with traditional prospecting. This is a lot of the big reason why people don't actually call. is because realtors, they talk too much. They talk way too much. The prospect needs to be the one talking more. They also defend their position way too much. They get an objection, they say something to them, and they try to defend themselves and they sound desperate. And then they ask surface level questions, AKA the scripts. So you guys are reading your script line by line and you're not going any deeper. And that's why everything stays surface level and you don't create emotion. Also, you try to convince. When you try to convince people, they shut you down. That's what happens. That's psychology. And here's the biggest one. You guys are too emotional. And by emotional, I mean you're too attached to the outcome of that call and to what they say and to how they reject you. You're too emotional. And when you get emotional, you say things out of emotion, which then isn't actually guiding them. It's just bumping heads with them at that point. So you can't get emotional. So after so much of doing this, you start to get frustrated and then you give up. Right? Has anybody experienced that? You've done all these things and then you get frustrated because you get rejected so much that you just give up on cold calling? Who's actually went through this before?
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah. So this is why you're getting rejected. Take notes on this. It's why you're actually getting rejected. It's not your scripts. It's not even the confidence you have. I know people say, I need be more confident on the phone. It's not the confidence. It's not even the leads that are bad. It's not that they're bad leads or they're unmotivated leads. It's because what actually matters most in conversation is how you make the prospect feel. I'm going to say that again. It's because what matters most in these conversations is how you make the prospect feel. So if a seller feels like they're being sold, they shut down. How many of you guys have gotten called from, a telemarketer or somebody try to sell you something, and as soon as you know they're a salesperson, what do? You shut down?
Immediately.
Or do you say, thank you for calling. I can't wait for you to sell me something. No, you shut down, don't you? So they do the exact same thing to us. The best communicators in this whole world, no matter in real estate or not in real estate, never, ever try to convince. Period. Ever. So, and I'm going to address this before we get into the training. There's an 87% fail rate in this industry, right? I think that's right numbers, right? I think I Googled it the other day. 87% fail rate. Almost all of you guys watching this right now, you need something to change in your business. That's why you're here. You're trying to learn something. You're trying to grow your business, but yet you continue to just be a dabbler, right? What's a dabbler? You show up to these trainings, you listen, you take notes, you might even try a few things that you learn, you get some results. But then when it actually comes down to doing this kind of work consistently, making the calls consistently, getting out of your comfort zone, doing what it takes to fully master something, and then taking your business to the next level, you run away and hide because it actually costs you something, whether that be commitment, your time, an investment. If it actually takes something from you, most agents, 95% of them, are going to run and they're going to hide and they're never going to do anything. Don't let that be you again today. If you've noticed yourself coming to these trainings and you're never really doing anything to get better, if this resonates with you today, learn it because it can change your business. It can change your life. Don't be a dabbler. All right. You guys ready to lock in? Yes? All right. Let's do it. So the 3 golden rules, write these down. The 3 golden rules, you have to get these before any of this I'm going to teach you is going to work. Number 1, you have to completely detach from the outcome. What does that mean? That means that if the prospect doesn't want to work with you, if they yell at you, if they do reject you, you don't care. You have to detach yourself from the outcome. You can't control what happens on the other side of the phone. Only thing you can control is what you do. So rule number 1 is you must completely detach yourself. All right. Number 2, your only goal on each prospecting call is to get to the truth. Can anybody tell me what that means? Get to the truth.
Find their motivation.
Motivation.
The truth is, are they a prospect or are they not? Think about it this way: red gumballs and blue gumballs. You're sorting. The truth is, there's going to be very little red gumballs. Those are your clients. There's going to be a lot of blue ones that are never going to do business with you. The truth is, which one are they? And how do you do that? That's rule number 3. Is your focus is to disqualify prospects as fast as possible. How many of you heard the saying, you always need to qualify? right? How many of you heard that? Always want to qualify the seller, qualify the prospect. Nope. Your focus needs to be to disqualify the prospect as fast as possible, and you're going to find out why in a minute. So if you follow these 3 rules, you will take more listings than you ever have before. Detach from the outcome, get to the truth, and disqualify them. That's it. Okay, if you can follow these 3 simple rules, this what I'm going to show you is going to work. All right, let's get into the psychology of it. This is something you will need to take notes on. Write this down. Number 1 is people never believe what you say. Never believe what you say. Can somebody tell me why that's true? Be honest.
Because you have a what is it called, an agenda.
Yeah. Anybody else? Why don't people believe what you say as a salesperson?
You haven't gained trust yet?
Well, you haven't gained trust, but what is your position?
Because they want to sell you, so you think that whatever they're going to tell you is to push you that product. So it's going to be the best product ever.
So the salesperson is always, they're normally hearing a salesperson try to tell them how great something is. And what do they think in their mind? Of course you say that, because that means you get paid. Right? So that's why people never believe what you actually say. However, rule number 2 is people usually believe what others say. Can somebody give me an example of why people believe what others say over what you say?
So like to hear themselves talk, like to be right.
Well, other people, we're talking about other people. Like if I talk to a prospect, they would believe their neighbor before they're going to believe me. Why is that?
Because they don't have reason to lie.
Boom. Tanya, good call. Because they other person is not biased. The other person does not have anything in their favor. That goes back to rule number 1. If somebody else says it, they don't benefit from saying it. If you say it, you benefit from saying it. That's why they don't believe you. But they believe other people. Where do we run when we go look at restaurant stuff? Like we're trying to find a good restaurant, find a good service. Where do we go to? Google. Why? And we don't know those people. Why do we believe them over what their website says? Because
their website is biased.
Because their website is biased. Good job.
All those opinions are bots.
Exactly. Yep. All right. And then rule number 3, and this is the most important rule, is people always believe what they say themselves. So everything I teach you today is based on these 3 rules. This is the 3 laws of selling. So everything that you do in sales are based on these 3 rules. So everything I teach you today, we're going to focus 90% around what they say. That's why we're going to get them to say things themselves. We're going to focus some time on letting other people say things for us through what's called third-party stories. All right, so people believe stories because it's what other people say. All right, everybody got this written down or have a picture of this? Because this is the most important one when it comes to sales. This is the laws. They never change. Okay. Let's move on. Now, I'm going to introduce you to something called the FATE model. Now, the FATE model is not just sales. This is influence. Okay, this is used inside of interrogations in the military. This is used inside of negotiations. This is actually even used in hypnotism, believe it or not. You can actually look this up. It's called the FATE model. There's 4 parts to this. It's how to influence anybody to do anything. I'm going to walk you through each one really quick. Okay, but as you're going through this training with me, you're going to recognize that everything I'm teaching you backs up to this model. Okay, so number 1 is focus. And then this is in order, by the way. This has to be in order. So the number 1 thing is focus. If you don't have somebody's focus, you can't influence them to do anything. So what was one of the, let's see. So disarming. Somebody said getting somebody to let them into the conversation, get them to disarm. The reason that they're not disarmed is because you don't have their focus. That's why whenever we disarm somebody, that gains number 1, focus. Without focus, nothing else matters. Number 2 is authority. They have to see you as some sort of authority. Well, they say, well, Austin, how do they see us? Like we're over the phone. It's how you sound. It's how you present yourself. It's the way that you say things, your tonality. That's going to help be the authority that you need. They have to visualize you as an authority. Number 3 is tribe. This is called the tribe mentality. Has anybody ever heard their parents say, well, if they jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge? Right? People see, people do kind of thing. It's because it goes back to this. Goes way back to our ancestry days whenever we would do what other people like us are doing. So if we can influence somebody by saying other people like you are doing this, there's more likely that they're going to do it. That's a tribe mentality. And then E is emotion. This is probably the one that we're going to have the most control over in our conversations, but it's to create emotion because people make decisions emotionally, not logically. So if you read line by line in your script and you don't create any emotion, you're not going to have the whole fate model. You're not going to influence them to do anything. Does this make sense to you guys? Put a hand up if this makes sense. You have to have their focus. They have to see you're an authority. They have to feel like other people like them are going to do it. And then you have to create emotion. If you can get these 4 things in your conversations, you will be much more powerful. Okay? Any questions about the fate model before we move on? This is psychology. This is not the actual structure yet. Good? Okay. Let's move on. I think it'll let me hit the button here. Okay, now it's all right. There we go. Okay, the next thing I want to teach you is something called the decision pendulum. All right, this is something that take a picture of this, write this down because everything that you talk about and do in your sales calls is going to follow this decision pendulum. All right, so on one side of the pendulum, you have change because all sales is change. You're trying to get somebody to do something different, to change, to make a change. The other side is no change. They don't do anything. They don't make any changes. This is all sales is, change and no change. So on one side, you have change. The other, you have no change. As a real estate agent, I need participation here. Which side do you think the real estate agent is on? No change or change?
No
Change.
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 Yep. Why?
Change.
We try to convince them that we are right.
Yep. Because we're trying to get them to do something. Because the reality is if they don't do something, we don't get any business and then we don't get any money, right? So we do want them to change. But if you look at the pendulum and the Newton's law of motion down here, an object at rest will stay at rest until acted upon by an outside force. What does that mean? That means that with every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if you imagine this pen as the pendulum, if we're on the side of change and we're trying to pull them to change, what's the opposite reaction when you let that go? Can somebody tell me?
They are going to resist hard.
Mm-hmm. It's the opposite reaction, which is no change. That's why you guys get rejected, because you're trying to get them to do something, which the opposite reaction of that is for them to not do something. Does that make sense to you guys? This is very, very simple. The questions I ask you are never going to be trick questions. Do you guys see this? Now, here's the question. How are you going to get them to actually swing in the direction of change? What do you have to do?
Get their idea.
Make it their idea. So then which side do you have to pull it to?
The no change.
No change.
Bingo. Bingo. Has anybody ever thought about this?
And let gravity take it from there. Boom.
And let gravity take it from there. Right. So here's the key though. The harder you swing it to one side, the harder it swings to the other. So if you barely kind of push it a little bit, they're not really going to push back that hard. But if you really get, talk really, really what's called absolute language, and you really push them to not do anything, to not work with you, to not sell their house, to not do anything, the harder they are going to push back. Okay, I'm going to teach you the exact method to do this, but does this make sense to you all? This is very simple stuff, but it's something that will definitely change your business. All right, let's move on to the actual technique. So this is called the self-persuasion technique. So in traditional selling, what happens? You see the salesperson, they have a rope, right? They're pulling the prospect to them. Think about Newton's law. What happens when you try to pull somebody towards you? What's the opposite reaction?
Pull away.
They're going to pull away.
They pull away, right? Yeah. So just like the pendulum, you pull them to you, they're going to pull away. So what I teach is called autonomy-driven persuasion. I'm not going to get into all the science there, why I call it that, but if you push them, what's the opposite reaction? Are they going to push back, or what's the opposite? They're going to come back the other direction, right? So you're essentially going to push them towards not selling, and then they're going to push back, because here's the shift. Here's what you guys need to take notes on. When you argue for change, they will always argue against it, always. But when they argue for change, it's their idea. Then remember law number 3? People will always believe what they say. That's law number 3. So let me ask you this. Do you think there are more reasons why somebody wouldn't change, or more reasons why they would?
More reason to not to change.
Exactly. So finding those reasons is much easier, which means that's why you're always going to disqualify your prospects instead of trying to qualify them. Because if you can find reasons why they're never going to do business with you, you just saved a ton of time. Okay, so you're going to make a case. When I teach you this whole structure, you're going to be making cases throughout this whole entire conversation of why they should not do something. And you're going to watch how the motivated sellers are going to fight back for reasons why they need to do something. All right, let's break down what I call my conversation chain, or the conversion chain. Now, I'm going to go into each one of these in detail, and I'm going to teach you how to actually create these conversations and these questions, but I'm going to give you an overview really quick. So the first thing you have to do is gain permission. That's how you disarm the prospect. Once you gain permission into the conversation, you're going to find out five different things here. And this is motivation. So 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all motivation. You're going to find out, do they want to sell? That's the desire. Then when you find out, hey, they want to sell, you're going to find out the reason. Why do they want to sell? You got that? You're going to go through what's the alternatives? Can they rent it out instead? Can they just add on to their home? Can they just keep it as a second property? Do they really have to sell? What's the alternatives? You find out there's no other alternatives. Then you find out their timing. When do they want to sell? How urgent is it? Okay. Once you find out their motivation, you're going to move into, are they already committed to another agent? Now listen to me, committed, not do they know an agent, because everybody and their mother knows at least 5 or 6 agents. So you can never ask, do you know an agent? You have to ask, are you 100% committed to another agent? I'm going to teach you how to do that. The next step is, if they're not committed, you find out, are they willing to invite you over? Not will they let you come over, will they invite you over? Because whose idea does it have to be? Their idea, right? And then once they give you permission, or they say, sure, we'll invite you over, number 8 is, you're going to give them a chance to bail out. You're going to give them a chance to cancel right on the spot. And this is a very powerful one that I didn't share the last time, that I'm going to share with you this time. Okay, now before we actually get into every single one of these change, this is the glue to the system. Without this, nothing else is going to work. No matter what you say, no matter how smooth the words are that you say, if you don't have the right tonality, the right pacing, and the right inflections, nothing else will matter, because this matters more than the words you say. So your tonality can be confused. You can be curious. You can be nurturing. You can be playful. There's a lot of different tonalities that you can use. That's how you sound. Your pacing is how quick you say it, how slow you say it. And then the inflection meaning what words do you emphasize in the sentences that you're saying. This is why practicing helps. This is why skill training helps. This is why making the calls over time, you're going to get better and better. So as I'm showing you these questions, I'm going to be like giving you examples of how to say it. And then I want you guys to practice it. I'm going to help you guys practice this on today's call, because the way you say it matters more than what you actually say. All right, let's move on. Now, we're going to talk about gaining permission. Now, before we do that, I want to break down the 3 most important principles in human persuasion. I'm going to show you all a video. It's about a 3-minute video. It's from a psychologist that really breaks down why it's so important to gain permission. And then I'm going to break down these 3 different principles for you. Okay, so let me play this video.
It's no secret that people don't like to be told what to do, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody. I know that for me, the more someone tells me that I cannot have fast food, I only want to have fast food all the more, right? If someone tells me that I can't do something, what do I want to do? Exactly that thing. I think that's a fairly common experience. In psychology, this idea is called reactance, which means that people don't like to feel like their freedom of choice is being threatened. If I feel like you're making me do something, you're trying to control me, I react really poorly to it. And a lot of times what happens is that people go ahead and do the opposite. They'll do something that completely counters the thing that they feel like they're being made to do. This is a problem for persuaders, because what is persuasion and influence but trying to get people to do the things you want them to do? So you need to be careful and know that people aren't going to be super open to the fact that you want to guide their behaviors and opinions. So what do we do? How do we counter reactance? Well, there's a very cool principle in psychology called "but you are free," or at least that's what I call the principle. The idea is that you want to assure people that you're not trying to threaten their freedom to choose, and they completely have freedom of choice in this instance, and then ask them to do something for you. Basically, the idea is reassure people that you're not trying to control them, and they become more influenced by what it is that you have to say. Consider a study that was conducted in France a few years ago. Their goal was to get people to take a simple survey, and they just go up to people and say, hey, we're doing a survey around town. We're looking for people to help us out and complete this 5 to 8 minute questionnaire. Would you please do that for us? And the question is, how many times do people say, yes, I'll take your survey for you? Well, when they went in cold and they just asked like that, it turns out that about 75% of people did say yes. After all, it's only a 5 to 8 minute survey. People are happy to do something like that. But in some instances, they added the "but you are free" tactic and opened up their request by saying, hello, we have something to ask of you, but you are of course free to accept or refuse. And then they asked them to take the survey. Well, in this case, compliance rates shot up to 90%. Even though 75% was a pretty good figure, adding just this one little sentence made people more likely to say yes to the thing that they were asking them to do. And all it took was telling people that they were free to say no. And ironically, that made them more likely to say yes. In 2013, a meta-analysis was conducted, which just means they took a whole bunch of different studies and lumped them all together to see if they were reliable across multiple studies. And they found that across 42 different studies, the "but you are free" technique is a reliable and effective strategy.
All right. Now, does it make sense why you would want to ask permission and gain permission into a conversation? Because when somebody has the freedom of choice, they're more likely to give you that. Now, in real estate, in the prospecting world, that study has been tested, and it's 45% of the time. If you force your way into the conversation and you just start asking questions, 45% of the time it works. But when you ask permission, it goes up to 85%. That's the difference between just going into a conversation, start asking questions, start just interrogating them, and then gaining permission to even have the conversation. This is an extra step, but this extra step will buy you much more time. Okay, so the three important principles that I'm going to go over really quick is psychological reactance. That is what he was talking about. When somebody feels like their freedom of choice is being removed, that psychological reactance goes up, and then guess what they lose? What's the fate model? Number one. What's the F?
Focus.
Focus. When their psychological reactance goes up, they stop focusing on what you have to say. They're just trying to get off the phone call. So you have to keep psychological reactance down the entire time. Number two is perceived bias. So we are looked at as agents that have perceived bias. Everything we say and do is all for our favor. So as you're having these conversations, when you gain permission, you're removing the perceived bias because you're letting them say no. You're allowing them to actually shut you down right at the beginning. So you remove perceived bias. And then number three is autonomy. So autonomy is the feeling of knowing that you are in control of whatever the outcome is. So when I teach you, and I call it autonomy-driven persuasion, but the skills that I teach you is going to help the prospect always feel like they are in control. Because back to rule number three, if they say it and they make the decision, they believe it. So you always have to use autonomy supporting language. in every conversation that you have. It has to be their choice. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions on that at all? I'm going to teach you how to actually gain permission, how to structure the question, but I want to make sure you understand it first. Does anybody have questions about it? I'm going to check the chat to make sure. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Now, you're going to gain permission in these 3 steps. Write this down. These 3 steps. Number 1, you're going to use their first name as a question. You never want to say, hey, I'm looking for this person. Is this the right, you don't want to do that. You want to, John, you remember tonality. You want to sound confused. You want to sound curious. Use their first name as a question. You can also use what's called reluctant honesty. Now, does anybody know what reluctant means? Can anybody explain what reluctant is? Reluctant is when you're saying it and hesitant. You're hesitating when you say it because you know that when these words come out of your mouth, they're not going to like it. You're reluctant to reject somebody. You're reluctant to say something that you know is going to come off kind of mean, right? So when we say we're an agent, we have to say it with reluctancy. So John, this is Austin. Look, I'll be upfront with you. I'm a realtor, right? I'm saying it as I know you don't want to hear this. And then the next step is the autonomy support. So then this is where you gain permission in the conversation, but you can also throw in a little bit of humor. Hey, John, hey, this is Austin. Look, I'll be upfront with you. I'm a realtor, but before you hang up, though, I was hoping just to ask you a question. Is that okay? Right? And so what that's doing with the tonality, with the pauses, with the pacing, and I emphasize certain words, they're more likely to say, yeah, sure. What's your question? Okay, because you're giving them the permission. Example number 2. You'd say, Sonia, hey, Sonia, look, it's just Austin. If I told you I was a realtor, are you going to, start yelling at me now? Or could I at least tell you why I'm calling first? Right? You're still gaining permission into the conversation. Can somebody try this? I want to hear somebody actually use this with the right tonality and see if you can get it down. Put your Zoom hand up and I'll choose somebody. Don't be afraid to try it, guys. Come on, don't be dabblers. Jump in. All right, Rhett, let's go.
All right. Hi, Austin.
Yeah.
Hi, Austin. You're going to hate me. My name's Rhett Sanders. I'm a local real estate agent. You want to hang up on me, or will you give me 30 seconds to tell you why I called?
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Natalia, right? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
There you go. So I'll say, Austin?
Yeah, who's this?
So this is Natalia. Okay, Austin. If I told you I'm a realtor, are you gonna start yelling at me right now? Or are you gonna give me a few seconds to explain, so I can explain to you why I'm calling first?
Good. Good job. Good job. Good job. Okay, let me
I
give you
have a question though.
Go ahead.
Will be if they answer their phone, right?
Correct. Yep, when you get them on the phone.
What would you change a little bit of perspective if you're leaving them a voice note, or you don't leave it, you continue to call?
I love that question. So anytime, this is going to be a little gold nugget for you guys. If I'm calling about a property, right, I'm going to say, hey, John, I'm actually looking at a property on 123 Main Street. I actually noticed something, and I hang up. What does that do? That creates a huge curiosity loop, because then they go, whoa, what did he notice about my property? What's going on? And he calls you back. So I'm gonna act like I have something to tell him about his home or something interesting. I don't say I'm an agent. And when he hears that and it cuts off, he calls you back.
Got it.
All right. That's a little golden nugget. All right. Here's some more examples. Want to try this one? Anybody? Come on, there's 50 something people on here. Y'all, come on, y'all can do this. All right, Karen, let's go.
Okay. Bob?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Karen. I'm a realtor. I hate making this call, probably just as much as you hate getting it. But I was hoping to ask you something before you hang up on me. Is that okay?
That's good.
That was really
good.
I'm
going to say, hey, Bob, this is Austin. Look, I'm a realtor, and man, I hated making this call, to be honest with you, probably just as much as you hated getting it. But I was hoping to ask you something before you hang up on me. Is that okay? You hear the reluctancy in my mind or in my voice? It's okay to stutter. You want to intentionally struggle with some of these things because it sounds more human. The more human you sound, the more likely they are to connect with you. If you are so perfect on your script and you sound like you're just reading it and you know every single word, it comes off as this person is a salesperson, they're a professional, they're going to sell me, I don't want to talk to them. You have to sound like you're intentionally struggling a little bit. Good job, Karen. That was good. Let's do one more. One more. Teresa? Teresa, my name's Austin. Look, you're gonna hate me. I'm a realtor. Would you like to hang up now, or could I at least tell you why I called? Right? That's a more straightforward one. Did you want to try one? I think somebody just popped up. I didn't see who it was.
It was Sheila.
Sheila, you want to do it?
Sure. I'll do the Bob one.
Okay.
Bob?
Yeah.
Oh, Bob, this is Sheila. I'm a realtor, and listen, I hate making these calls just probably as much as you hate getting them. But I was hoping to ask you a real quick question before you hang up on me. Is that okay?
That's good. That's beautiful. Give a round of applause, y'all. That was good.
That was so good. So proud of all of you.
Okay. So you guys hear that. So your tonality, your pausing, that stuff actually matters when you say this. If you just say it straightforward, it's not going to come off the same way. I'm going to move on to the next chain. Does anybody want to try this? Don't be scared here. You can do it. I sucked at it at the beginning. So you guys, it doesn't matter if it doesn't sound good. Just try it.
You better practice here before you practice
Come
with a
on.
client. If you're already nervous, get your nerves out here.
Get it.
This is a safe world, you guys. This is a safe world. Do it here. It's the first step.
If you don't do this question, you're going to do another one. So I'm going to start calling on people here in a minute.
I'll try it.
There we go. Okay, let's go, Carrie.
Okay. Bob?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Carrie. I'm a realtor, and I hated making this call, probably as much as you hated getting it. But I was hoping to ask you something before you hang up on me. Is that okay?
Good job. Good job, Carrie. Great. All right, let's move on. Love it. So like I said, link number 2, 3, 4, and 5, these are all motivation. Because the key after you disarm the prospect, you now have to find, is there motivation? Is there pain, right? Because here's what you have to remember, and this is a good time to take this note. If there is no pain, there is no sell. If there's no pain, there's no sell. There's two main, indicators for people actually making a change. It's pain now or the fear of pain later. But if there's zero pain, there's not going to be a sell. It's not your job to create that. Our job is not to convince prospects into selling. I want to make that very clear. It's not our job to convince them into selling. It's to find people who already have motivation, AKA pain, and then determine if we can help them or not. For some reason, we forget this when we're on a call. We try to overcome all these objections, which they're not even objections. They're just people who have zero pain. They're not motivated. There's no reason to continue the conversation. So our job is to just find the right people who have pain. That's it. Right? I always say if you sold life insurance, you wouldn't prospect in the cemetery, right? Because it doesn't make sense. That's just like calling prospects and trying to get them to sell when they have no reason to. All right. So let's talk about the link number 2 then. Do they want to sell? So listen up, guys. Listen to me when I say this. At this point in the conversation, you just gained permission, correct? They said, sure, Carrie, sure, Sheila, sure, Karen, we're going to let you ask a question. What is your question? Their skepticism is at the highest. You've lowered their resistance. They're focused on what you have to say, but their skepticism is at the highest. So they are waiting for you to try to sell them. Because what happens, even when we get phone calls and they ask permission, because you've probably gotten them where they try to use a pattern interrupt just like we used, but then the next thing out of their mouth is something to try to sell us. And then we instantly shut down. Am I right? So what you should never do, your next thing that comes out of your mouth, the next sentence that you say should never include, are you interested in? Would you be open to? Would you be willing to? Have you considered? Right? Because what's that making a case for? Somebody tell me, what are you making a case for when you're saying, are you interested in? Are you open to? Would you be willing to?
Pendulum.
The pendulum. You're trying to get them to change something. So the opposite means they're just going to shut you down, resist you, and then the conversation is going to be over. So what you should do is you're going to create a push away question, right? This is a push away question that makes a case for them not selling. Not selling. How do you do that? We're going to learn that right now. So there's going to be 3 steps to this. Write this down, right? CCC. CCC. You're going to give them context, the reason you're asking the question. You're going to create a carrot, which is a carrot. Everybody talks about dangling a carrot, right? What would they want? What might they actually want? And then you're going to challenge them by pushing them away and assuming that they wouldn't want it. It's that simple. There's so many ways you can use this CCC method. Give them context, dangle the carrot, and then challenge them and take that carrot away. Right? Because what that's doing is you're making a case for them not doing it. And the real motivated sellers are going to fight back. So this is what that sounds like. Well, actually, let me give you what it shouldn't sound like. Yeah, John, with prices being so high, would you be interested, I guess, in selling if the numbers made sense? How many scripts have that on there? Have you seen? You all seen a lot of scripts that talk about, well, hey, if the numbers made sense, have you been considering selling? Do you know anybody interested in selling in your neighborhood? They're on probably 90% of the scripts you read. Okay, here's what you need to do. This is what actually works with psychology. You're going to say, this is going to sound, crazy, John, but we have some clients actually looking for a 4-bedroom ranch inside Lakewood here. And they've seen everything on the market. But John, I'm sure even if you could get an amazing price, you'd probably laugh and tell me you're in your dream home and you're never selling. Am I right? So what this is doing, can somebody tell me the context? Where's that at? What's the context? You got to know how to break these down. Which one's the context?
Buyer.
The buyer. Yep. You have somebody looking in the neighborhood. Yep. And then what's the carrot?
That they're looking for something that person
An
has.
amazing price. That's the carrot. And then what's the challenge? Where are you pushing them away?
You wouldn't want that. You wouldn't take it or whatever you said.
You'd probably laugh and tell me you're in your dream home and you're never selling.
Yep.
That's the challenge. Here's another one. I get the feeling that if I asked you about selling, John, I mean, even if you got an unbelievable price, you'd probably tell me you're never selling and that you're in your forever home. Am I right? The context is I get the feeling that if I asked you about selling, the carrot is even if you got an unbelievable price, you're probably going to tell me you're never selling and that you're in your forever home. That's the challenge. You have to use all 3 because if you ask a question without any context, they don't understand why you're asking. If you don't dangle the carrot before you challenge them, they have nothing to fight back about. So you have to do it in this exact order. Question. Go ahead.
Would you add in this or at all, but maybe in this step saying something like, I've talked to a few of your neighbors and like some version of they weren't interested or something, like make it seem like the neighbors are also not interested?
No, because you're going to do that in your next question.
Okay. You're
going to do that in the next question when you find out why. You're going to include their neighbors.
Heard.
Yep. So the next option, this is going to be an expired. Hey, John, since you took the home off the market, I mean, I'm assuming even if you got an offer now that made sense financially, it's probably way too late. I mean, that's not something you'd even consider at this point. Am I right? That's for an expired listing. No. Like we need to sell this thing. We would consider it. Okay. Can anybody think of one for maybe a different, not even different lead source, but maybe just another style of this? Does anybody think of one? I'm going to challenge you guys. It's okay if you can't. Context, carrot, and challenge. No? Okay. It's all right. So let me give you an example with a for sale by owner, because a for sale by owner obviously has their home on the market, right? So the way you would ask that question, the very first question would be, and look, I'm working with, some people in the area and not that I have a specific buyer right now, but I kind of get the feeling, even if I brought you an offer that made sense financially with commissions, I mean, that's not something you even consider right now since you're selling it by owner, right? No. We definitely would, right? You're gaining that permission. You got the permission. Now you found out they want to sell, but the want to sell with a FISBO is, will they work with you if you bring a buyer? That's the only difference with for sale by owners. They're a different beast. All right. So now you've gained permission. You know they want to sell. The next question, You find out is why they want to sell. This is the reason. This is where the real motivation comes in. All right. So the word why, when you ask somebody why, just like as a kid, when you were a teenager, when somebody said, well, why did you do that? Why did you do this? You feel accused, right? You feel like people are trying to just interrogate you. So what does that cause? Resistance. So what are we trying to keep down? Resistance. So you never want to ask why they're doing something. So you're going to build what's called an ABC or something else question. So back to what I was saying, the next question we're asking uses their neighbors. Their neighbors is the third party story. Third party story, and this allows the prospect to share in the tribe mentality. You remember the fate model? People do what people like them do. And it also gives the prospect the freedom to give their own reasons, which supports the autonomy. This is using three very powerful principles in psychology: third party stories, tribe mentality, and autonomy. So then how do you build an ABC or something else question? All right. So step number one, if you're looking at a property in a certain neighborhood, what are some valid reasons that sellers with those type of homes would actually move for? Are they smaller homes? Would they want something bigger? Are they too big? Do they usually downsize? Are they super close together? They need more privacy. You can see that by just looking at the neighborhood, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to choose 2 or 3 of those reasons why, like you're going to include that. You're going to use 2 or 3 of those reasons in your question. Does that make sense? Before I'll show you examples, do you understand how to create it? You find reasons why people with those type of homes would sell, 2 to 3 reasons, and then you include it in your question. You got it so far? Okay. Here's what the questions would look like. And John, look, most people I talk to in the neighborhood, there's your neighbors. They tell me they're selling because, they're either looking to downsize, find more land, or even just relocate out of Florida altogether. I mean, out of curiosity, is that the same for you, or is it something totally different? Now, what's this doing? They feel like they can tell you the truth because other people like them told you. They also feel like they can give you their own answer and their own reason without feeling like they're being pressured. Another question is interesting, and I guess out of curiosity, John, because most sellers in this area are thinking of moving because of how expensive the HOA is getting, or really because they just want more privacy. Is that the same for you, or is it something else? You see how I only use 2 there? It's okay to use 2. You don't have to use all 3. Here's another example. Yeah, I understand. And if you don't mind me asking, because I know other neighbors have mentioned selling because they want to get away from, the flood zone here, or really just to get closer to the city. I mean, is that kind of the same reasons you were going to sell, or is it something completely different? This is such a powerful question that people feel comfortable actually answering. Can one of you guys try this one? Who wants to try it out? I'm gonna start calling on people if they don't.
I highly recommend.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Go, pick a number from 1 to 10.
8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Macy! Where's she at? Did she just disappear? Where'd she go?
Like, hang up.
I said no. I saw a hand
Did she
raised.
hang up? Where'd she go?
I did see a hand raised just
Macy. Oh, did somebody raise their hand?
I saw there was a John. His hand was raised and then it went down. So I don't know.
All
If
right.
I'm scared.
All right, Macy, you're up then.
I am. I'm here.
Okay. Let's hear it. You got this.
So what am I doing? What am I asking?
You're just reading one of these with the tonality to where you're being natural. You're intentionally struggling through it and making it sound like you just came up with this question.
Gotcha. So, okay, and John, most people I talk to in the neighborhood tell me they're selling their home because they're either looking to downsize, find more land, or even just relocate out of Florida altogether. Out of curiosity, is that the same for you, or is there something completely, totally different?
That's beautiful. Good job, Macy.
Thanks.
Who wants to try another one?
I say let's pick John since he was ready.
All right, where's John?
Interesting. And out of curiosity, Austin, because most sellers in this area are thinking moving because on how expensive the HOA is getting, or because they want some more privacy. Is that something for you, or it's something else?
Good job, John. Thanks for participating. Good job. All right.
I'll go.
So go ahead.
Okay. Hey, Dennis, I get it. I've heard that a lot of people from Ann Arbor are trying to move to Brighton because they're trying to get away from taxes. Is that the same situation for you, or is it something different?
Beautiful. That works as well. That works as well. Good job. Anybody else want to try it?
I just wanted to say how important it is, right, to research that specific area. Because like in Michigan, if I said flood zone, they would be like, what? In most, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like we have those too, but like make sure that you're using like, or if you use HOA and you call in somebody whose house is on a main road, right? Like they don't have HOA, like make sure that you study that area before and then massage the script to be specific to that area where you're calling.
And a little cheat code too, if you're calling a neighborhood in general that's around other houses, you can always use the privacy. You can always use trying to move to find more privacy. You can always use that. Or if it's a bigger home, you can say downsizing. It's a smaller home, you can say upsizing. That's kind of a cheat code. So if you're looking at the property and you say it's a 2 bedroom, you can say upsizing. If it's a 4 bedroom, you can say downsizing, right? And it's not like they're going to go, well, this house isn't big enough to downsize. Like they're not going to say that. It's just that's kind of a cheat code if you don't really know anything about the area. It's okay, right? So this question can be used in overcoming objections. So I'm going to give you a little insight here. I didn't put anything with objections here, but if somebody gives you an objection, you're trying to find out why they're asking you that question, you can use the ABC. You know, all agents are useless. All you guys did are, open doors, right? And I guess out of curiosity, though, before we hang up, when you say that all we do is open doors, is that because you had a really bad experience with another agent, or all they did was open doors, or was it something else? You see how that gets them to expand on what they mean? So the ABC and something else question is really, really powerful. So you can use it in a lot of situations, but it's best used whenever you're finding out why somebody wants to sell. Okay, let's recap. You got permission. You know they want to sell. You got why they want to sell. Can somebody remember what the next one is? You want to bring up all the what?
When?
No, that's the one after. Yeah, who said alternatives? Tanya? Good job. The alternatives. I was seeing if who took notes here. Okay, now you found out the reason. Now you're going to bring up the alternatives. Why do you want to bring up alternatives? People say to me all the time, you found out why. What's the point of this? It's because sometimes people say they want to do something and they even have good reasons why they want to do it, but oftentimes they still don't. Why? It's because the pain of the pain of changing is greater than the pain of staying the same. So until staying the same and staying in their property is more pain than actually selling, they're never going to actually sell. Or they're going to put some unrealistic price on there where they don't really care if it sells. So if you bring up the alternatives and then they tell you why there's zero alternatives and they have to sell it, that's going to get deeper in the pain and it's going to create more emotion. Remember, people make decisions emotionally, right? So this is going to help create that emotion and increase the pain. So this is what it would sound like. Let's say that you're talking to a prospect that is selling because they're having a baby, right? They're expanding their family. This is how you can get that. Well, I'm curious because I mean, John, this is a absolutely beautiful home. I mean, have you considered just, I guess, putting an addition on, for room for the baby instead of selling? Because I mean, John, it's a pain in the butt right now to sell in this market. Have you considered that? No. I wish we could, but I mean, we can't because we already have another home we're paying for and we have to sell this one. A lot of times when you bring up alternatives, the person is going to then tell you an even deeper reason why they need to sell. Don't ever forget this link. It's super powerful. Has anybody on this call ever used this? Bringing up alternatives?
I ask, like, have you thought about renting it out or something like that?
Yep, that's an alternative. Yep. John, instead of selling this for whatever reason, can't you just rent it out? I mean, it's a beautiful home, right? No, we can't rent it. We need the money to do this, blah, 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 right? Beautiful. All right. Can somebody try this? You want to try it, Angel?
Yeah. I'm curious because this is a really beautiful home. Have you considered just putting in an addition so there's room for the baby instead of selling? Because I know selling right now can be a pain.
Beautiful. I wish we could, Angel, but I mean, we can't. We already have another home we're paying for, and we have to sell this one. Okay. So what does that lead you right into? Rhett, what you just said?
When I've got
When
a
do
real
they
quick
want to
question.
sell?
I got a quick question about that first. So, is it okay to see like have you considered putting on an addition, or like have you thought about? Is that a good phrase as well, or?
Yeah, absolutely. All you're doing is just bringing it up. You're bringing up an alternative. There's no special way to say it. You're just bringing up an alternative because what that's doing is what's called speaking against the status quo because every other agent is trying to get them to sell. So instead, you're speaking against that. That wouldn't benefit you. And then that builds trust. So that's why it doesn't matter what you say. It's more so just bring up the alternatives and speak against your own interest. Right? Because them making an addition or renting it is not in your benefit whatsoever. Right? Okay, let's move on. When do they want to sell? If you started out, what's your timeline look like? When do you need to sell? How quickly do you need to be there? That comes across very needy because if they sell quicker, that means you get paid quicker, right? So if you're asking these type of questions, well, when do you need to be there? What happens here, right? You're trying to get them to sell quicker. Then they're thinking to themselves, well, this guy, this girl just wants me to sell it so they can get paid. That's the resistance goes back up. So instead, you're going to use a push away question, right? Use the pendulum, and you're going to get them to tell you how urgent it is to actually sell. So it sounds like this. Well, even if you got an offer now, I mean, I know you said you needed to sell it, but I'm sure you couldn't move right away. I mean, you still need to find your next place, wouldn't you? Then they're going to say, no, I got to get this. I already have that place lined up. Like, I got to get this done now. Opposite, right? I mean, even if you did get an offer now, John, I mean, it's probably way too soon for that. You took the home off the market. I mean, you couldn't even move for at least 60 or 90 days. Am I right? You see? If an offer came in right away, I mean, would you actually be in a position to make a move or would that actually present a problem? There's so many ways you can ask these questions, but the key is don't try to rush them. Try to hold them up and then see how urgent they actually are.
You remember what I said that whatever he's saying, I would buy it in 2 colors. So I can literally hear the sellers just saying, no, like we can sell like right now. Right? Like I
Yeah.
can hear them on the other end, just convincing you that they can sell fast.
And that's how it works in real life. That's how it actually works. Okay, let's move on. What is link number 6? You now have the motivation. They want to sell, why they want to sell. What's the alternatives? You know when they want to sell. What's the next chain? Can somebody tell
Are
me?
they committed to any agent?
Bingo. Are they committed to another agent? So you're moving now out of motivation into what's called the opportunity stage. This is where you're going to find out, is there an actual opportunity? Okay. So sellers will always mislead you, not because they're doing it on purpose, but because the way you're asking the question. You remember at the very beginning, and I said, if you barely push it over to not doing something, they're barely going to swing back. Am I right? Do you remember me saying that? So an absolute language is when you really push them as far away from not changing as possible. So the only way to do that when you ask about an agent is to ask how committed they are, right? So what you don't want to do is say, do you already have an agent in mind for when the time comes? How many of you asked that question before? Be honest. Do you have an agent in mind that you would use? Who doesn't have an agent if they think of it? Yeah, we have agents we could use. We have about 20. Right? I don't know why people don't understand this. Everybody has agents. Everybody knows agents. So the way you do that is you use the absolute language and you push them as far as not using you as possible. John, I get the feeling though that if the time does come and you sell, I don't know why that went back. If the time does come that you sell, you probably have a rock star agent that you're 100% committed to. Am I right? What's the absolute there? Can somebody tell me?
100% committed.
100% committed to. Okay, how about this one? I get the feeling though that even if for some reason you don't get the home sold on your own, I mean, you've probably already interviewed and hired the agent that you'd use. Am I right? What's the absolute there?
Already hired the agent.
Okay, and what is for sell by owners definitely not have done yet? They haven't hired anybody, have they? Okay. No. We haven't hired anybody. That just opens your opportunity up right there. For sell by owners was what I built my business on. So when I first got into the business, all I did when I was doing about 50 deals a year is just for sell by owners. They were all for sell by owners. That's it. And this is the exact questions I asked them. Okay. So now they're not committed to an agent. Okay. Let's put it in another perspective. Let's say that it's expired, right? You're calling expireds. I get the feeling though that I know you said you need to get to Tennessee, but I mean, you're going to go back and use that other agent. You've already signed with them, right? No, heck no. We're never going to use that other agent. Okay. You see how that works? You want to use an absolute that they're already committed to somebody else and they're never going to use you. Right? Then it opens you up to, are they willing to invite you over? This one's very important. This one is probably the most important when it comes to how you say it with the right tonality, because this is the appointment setting script that I've used my entire career. All right. So can somebody read the four structured, just the first four for me? I want to get you guys involved. Somebody that hasn't talked before.
Gain permission. Autonomy supporting statement, future pace, the outcome, and no oriented question.
Okay. You guys know what gain permission is, right? We already went through that. You're just going to gain permission again, just very simply gain permission. The next thing, you know what autonomy is. Autonomy means that they feel like they're in control. Okay. You're going to make a statement so they feel that way. Then you're going to future pace the outcome. What does that mean? Future pace, I keep hitting these buttons with my fat fingers. Future pacing the outcome is when you're going to tell a story, because stories sell, right? You're going to tell a story about an outcome that they, as the seller, are going to experience. This lowers the resistance because it's not a now thing. It's a future thing. Okay. You're going to tell a story where they are in that story and they experience something. And then you're going to end it by pushing them away by making a no-oriented question. All right, I'm going to read to you exactly what I would say. You can say so many different things, but this is what I would say here. John, before I go, I guess, can I make a recommendation then? Sure, Austin, what's that? And look, I don't even know that I can help. I mean, you'll decide that, but let's pretend we actually got together one day and, after seeing what I do, you genuinely believe that I could actually get the home sold. But John, more importantly, you actually felt like I could get you to Tennessee with your family and you could start your the new process there. If that were the case, John, is there any reason you wouldn't invite me over to just explore that a bit more? Now, what position did you put him in? He's saying, if I was able to feel this certain way, know that I could get the result I'm looking for, why wouldn't I want that? Right? Another way to do it is you can say, and look, John, I don't even know that I am the right agent for you. I mean, you're going to make that decision, but let's pretend for a second that we got together, and after I walked you through what I do for my clients, you said to yourself, man, what Austin showed me was like different than anything else that I've seen. But more importantly, I feel like you can actually get me the money I'm looking for. I mean, John, if you said that, would there be any reason that you wouldn't want to invite me over to look at it? Right? You can put it in a story format where he's saying it too. I know this is going to be a really hard one, but can anybody try to say this one?
I'll go.
Okay.
All right. So, John, before I let you go, can I make a recommendation?
Sure. What's that?
Sure. I'll be upfront. I'm not the agent for everyone, but let's pretend you saw my plan and you genuinely believe that I could help you to get the property sold. Would it be a terrible idea to invite me over to explore this a little bit more?
Good job. Good job. Beautiful. Anybody else want to try it? I want to say this really quick as well. Where it says pain solution, this is why you guys are finding the pain, the motivation, because you're going to include it in your question. Because what's more important than saying you're going to be the solution to that pain? If you don't ever go deep enough to find the pain, you're never going to be able to really give that solution. You have to find the motivation and the pain to be able to include it in your appointment. Right? Now, sometimes you're not going to get that appointment right off the bat. You have to know how to get a lead after that. Now, that's a whole different training, lead, follow up, stuff like that. But you're going to find that a lot of people say, what, Nick?
Sorry, I was practicing.
It's it's okay. But a lot of times those people are going to say, hey, Austin, right now, we're just not going to meet with anybody. It's not the right time. But, maybe call us in this many days. You have to know how to structure that as well. Right? We don't have time to go over all that today, but there's ways to, just like this, there's another structure for the lead. There's structure for exactly how to follow up, exactly what to say to them during that follow-up process, how to get them to actually invite you over and see you as the valuable. Right? So there's a lot to it, but this right here is the exact conversation structure that I use. Now, let's say they give you the appointment. Okay? Let's say they gave you the appointment. This is where agents get what I call the happy ears, and they get too excited and they assume the seller is telling them the truth. And then what happens? They have them cancel and then they ghost them. And you never hear from them again. This is when you're going to give them the opportunity to cancel now. This is using what's called commitment and consistency bias. When somebody verbally commits something twice, statistics show that they're 40% more likely to actually follow through with it. So instead of just saying, sure, okay, we got an agreement, let's move forward, we're done. And then you're like, why is everybody canceling on me? Why are people not showing up? It's because you got to get them to commit again because they were telling you what you want to hear and then getting you off the phone. Okay? So this is how you can do that. It's very respectful, but it's very simple. Okay, well, John, really quick, and I don't think this is the case here, but I mean, you're not going to get off the phone with me and think to yourself, oh my goodness, what did I just do? I just agreed to meet with a realtor. And then John have to cancel on me last minute, right? And they're going to go, no, Austin, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to cancel on you. Not at all. I don't do that, right? They're verbally committing to that again. Another thing is, and before I put this on my calendar, John, I got everything ready to go. There shouldn't be any reason why you'd have to, cancel on me last minute, right? No, not at all. Another example is, John, I'm sure there's not, but is there anything that you can think of that might cause you to have to maybe cancel on me last minute? Getting them to verbally commit to this, just recommit and say no, is 40% more likely for them not to actually cancel, for them to follow through and meet you at the appointment. A lot of people are scared to ask this question, but when I started doing it, my met to actually, or my set to met ratio, which means how many appointments I set to how many appointments I met, went up 40%. Okay. All right. Any questions about giving them a chance to bail?
I just want to share that this number 8 is so important. And I never thought, why did that happen in the past? Like I would be just amazed how people can cancel the last moment. And I never thought that I could do something about that. So having this approach is definitely eye-opening here. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Of course. You're very welcome. Okay, so let's go over a quick recap. I'm going to take questions. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more, but here's the recap. You gained permission into the conversation. You found out they want to sell by pushing them away. Assuming they don't, they never would, right? You found out why by asking an ABC question. You brought up all the alternatives and found out how much pain they actually have, right? Then you found out how urgent is it. They told you how urgent it was they needed to sell. Then you pushed them even farther and said, you guys have an agent though. Even if you do need to sell, you have somebody you're 100% committed to. They said they don't. Okay, well then you walked them through the appointment. You future paced it to where they were feeling the exact emotions that you wanted them to feel. Then you asked them why they wouldn't want that. They said there's no reason I wouldn't want that. But then you went one step further and you gave them a chance to cancel today. And they said, I'm not going to cancel. And at that point, you have the most qualified, the most serious, and the most truest seller that you can find. Okay? Well, question, did somebody have a question? I saw somebody have their hand up. Angel?
Yes, for the last thing, once you set the appointment and everything, do you share like any resources or
Mhm.
anything prior to meeting with them?
Yes, absolutely. I always send over my resume. There's a lot of things that we do in process of that. I always send a thank you text, a thank you card, a video email, and a resume over to them. What I'm teaching you today is the structure of the conversation. Like, I only have so much time with you guys. Like, there's so much that actually goes deeper than this with them when
I
it comes
think
to
it's a
sales.
perfect time, Austin, to tell them about your how they can learn further. So if they want to have the full picture from start to
Okay.
finish of the cold calling process, what they can do.
Yeah, because what I'll tell you, and kind of going off of what Angel said, I mean, you have the follow-up, you have the listing presentation, you have how to find the leads, you have what to do in these conversations, right? There's something called the emotional grinder. So you want to put people through this emotional grinder to get them to feel more emotion about that pain, to where when you present the solution, they're more likely to take it. We didn't even get to get into all of that today. There's so much more to get into, but yeah, go, you're right. What I'm gonna show you really quick, guys, is a few agents who did decide to become a master at this and get really good at it instead of dabbling. I know most agents here are never going to do this. Most agents are going to go off this call and never probably make a phone call, but there's a set few of you all that actually are going to take this serious and going to change your business and change your life. So do I have your permission, y'all, to share this with you really quick?
You
Yes?
guys see
Okay.
how he just did that all to us?
Yes.
Literally, his script, everything he was just teaching to us. It works.
Right? Okay.
And we all said yes.
Right? Okay.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So my name is Pedro, and I've been working with Austin at this point, I think, for about 6 to 8 months. And I can tell you that the way I've been growing my business has completely changed just by implementing everything that I have learned with him. I've been in the business for almost 5 years, and for the most part, I've worked with buyers. My wife and I combined in the past 4.5 years, we have closed over 120 deals, and none of them were, maybe 3 or 4 were listings. But now, with the techniques and the strategies and everything that I've been learning with Austin, I've been able to secure this year alone in less than 12 months, 10 listings. 4 of them already closed. The rest are currently on the market. But it's been a game changer. Everything that I have learned with Austin. So if you're looking to grow your business, this is the place that you got to be in. Trust me.
So Pedro came to me. He's been with me about 6 months at that time. I think that was like 3 or 4 months ago. Now this is Lake. He dabbled in prospecting. He was kind of like you guys. He knew a little bit about it, but he wasn't fully invested. Pedro never picked up a phone in his life and done cold calling.
How long have you been in the program? Like 2 months, right? Something like that?
Yeah, I've been actually keeping track. It's been 46 days. So
46 days. Okay.
I was actually just looking at my numbers. In the last 30 days, I've been on 22 listing appointments. Like, I'm not like that's
30 days?
In the last 30 days, I just looked at it. I've booked, and I was looking on my calendar. I've booked 22 listing appointments in the last 30 days. Dude, I got 8 listings in the last 15 days from your conversion. Like, whether it was with your follow-up, whether it was with your scripts that booked me the appointment, and then once I actually get in the door, I do your assume to close scripts as well. And they're like already thinking like, okay, I'm gonna work with this guy. So I've had 8 listings in the past 15 days. I've had 10 listings in the past 60 days.
Yeah, it was like 50.
Okay, I'll just move on to the next one. He just kind of talks about his brokerage, and everybody's like, Lake, what are you doing differently? Because he just went from nothing to boom. Now I think he's up to like 20 something listings right now in the program. All right, this is Leslie. Leslie doesn't speak really good English, and she's never picked up a phone before.
Where do we even begin? He's not just a coach or a top producing realtor. He's a true leader, mentor, and an incredible human being who genuinely transforms lives through his expertise and example. I met Austin over 2 years ago when I'm ready to grow and get more listings after years in real estate. Watching him rise quickly to the top producing agent in Tampa Bay area from another state is really inspiring. When he introduced me to cold calling, I was terrified, especially since English is not my mother tongue. But Austin didn't just give me scripts. He taught me the psychology behind it, provided structure, and gave me proven systems. Most importantly, he gave me belief. Here's the truth coming from a realtor who never done cold calling ever. I decided to give these strategies a try. In just 1 month of consistently applying them, I successfully secured 5 listings. What once scared me is now part of my daily routine and a total game changer for my business. Not only that, Austin equips his students with everything we need to outshine other agents. He is very technology savvy, highly organized, an exceptional communicator, and inspiring leader. But what really sets Austin apart is his heart. He doesn't just care about production or numbers. He genuinely invests in our personal growth, our confidence, and the people we are becoming along the way. Joining Austin's coaching has been one of the best decisions of my life. I'm not just growing in business, I'm growing in belief, confidence, and purpose. And for that, I'll always be grateful to Austin and proud to be part of his incredible community.
Okay, now that's just three of the agents here. I do want to give an opportunity because there's a couple people on this call that are currently in my program. If any of you all want to say anything, feel free to. I don't know. I think actually only one now.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. Let me just throw on my hat because I've been. Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, Nick Rice here. So I do know all those people personally. They are telling the truth. It is crazy how Lake's great on the phone. Pedro, I don't know if you see him. I see him close like $1.5, $2 million houses in Texas all the time. I didn't know he was doing that high volume. But no, Austin is incredible. I can attest to everything. He literally has a script for everything. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Austin has invested any money that he gets into hire coaches. So he's coached by Jeremy Miner. He's coached by Ricky Cruz. He's coached by a lot of these people that it takes a lot of money just to get in front of those guys. And he's getting their knowledge and his knowledge. And I don't know if you know Jeremy Miner. These are people who've worked with the FBI just in negotiating skills. And he takes it, and as you can tell, he's really intelligent, but that's where he's getting all this stuff. And that's why it works. So it's helped me tremendously. Like, this is my board. I got like 11 deals going right now. Probably 6 or 7 of them are from this. And I'm kind of one of Austin's lazy agents, as he'll tell you that. So honestly, like it works so well that if you don't have a structure or a couple people under you to roll to perform these deals, like it takes a lot. And that's, I only say I'm lazy because it works so well that I don't want to take on like 20 and not be able to do them because it's just me. So it's ironic how well it works that I'm happy with what I got. And whenever I want to turn on the gas, I can get like 3 more because the scripts work so well, because I'm so detached from it. And ironically, the more success you get with it, the more calm you sound on the phone, the more detached you sound, because it's like me, like when someone's like, well, I don't know if I want to work with you. I'm like, well, I don't know if I can take on another 17. So that's cool. And then they realize that you're not trying to have any ill will. You're literally just like, look, I'm here to help you. It's kind of what we do. And yeah, so that's all I'll say. I mean, literally everything it says is true. It's incredible. And the reason it's incredible is because he's professionally trained. And he's got this classroom set up through school that it's all, anytime I want to go do something, I've never seen anything like it. Like I've been with brokerages. Just a lot of people who get into this leadership role tend to tell you what they want, and then you're hooked, and then you're like, where'd they go? What is this? Didn't even, so Austin is there, and we coach with us every Tuesday and Thursday so much. I mean, I know that there's going to be a time where he's going to be more expensive. That's why I'm just happy to be a part of it. So if you guys want to reach out to any questions to me, I'm happy to answer them, and you guys can get my info from Gogo or Austin.
Yeah, appreciate it, Nick. What I'll say when it comes to the mentorships is if you're not investing in yourself, and if you're going to hire a mentor or a coach and they're not investing in themselves, don't hire them. I mean, I've spent, and Gogo can tell you too, like she has too, we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on mentorships for ourselves.
Last year alone, just my 2 coaches last year alone were 70 grand. And then on top of it, all the events and all the masterminds and all the Tony Robbins and all the thing, like easy, plus the travel and hotel and all that, I easily spent 150,000 last year alone.
Yeah, if you guys know who Ricky Caruth is, Austin took me to meet, and we golfed with him. We didn't like go and sit in a seminar. Like we hung out with him.
I'll tell you guys. So I've been coach. So Brandon Mulrennan was my original coach. I left. I didn't leave, but I also hired Benjamin Dehaney. He's the UK most hated salesman, number 1 or number 2. So a lot of Brandon stuff came from Benjamin. I learned straight from Benjamin. Hired Jeremy one-on-one. I worked with him. I worked with Chase Hughes. That's where I learned the FATE model. He's an FBI negotiator. And then it's just kind of structured from there. So what I've done is take all of the best knowledge that I've learned and put it into my own system. And that's why in the last 4 years, I've been able to do what I've done. because I'm no different than you guys. I've just mastered this and now I can teach it. That's it. So now the question is, well, how much is it, right? And I know Nick's like, well, it's going to get more expensive. It's not that expensive. I'll show you what it is.
That's not what I meant. Sorry. I'm just saying he's good over all that.
Okay.
Anyway.
So here's the question. If you're a dabbler, you're never going to join this because you're not going to invest in yourself. But if you want to master it, there's 3 different directions here. Okay. So you have the foundations. It's only $89 a month. This is going to be all the videos, everything that I taught you, but way more in depth. Right. And we're going to meet once a month. We're going to go over things. I'm going to help train you personally once a month. It's not weekly. It's a foundation course. This is more of a starter course, but it's incredible for you guys if you're just trying to get your foot in the door. The next is the academy. This is what Nick's in. This is what other, I think there's, I'll have Sheila here in a minute if she wants to say something, but she's in the academy. That's only $350 a month. Now that is including a bunch of extra bonuses. You have the listing presentations, you have my preview strategies, you have an AI role play bot that is absolutely incredible, that is actually a real person, it sounds like, and you role play with them. And it gets you better and better and better. And then also I have my VIP, which is a one-on-one. This is more for people that kind of has started to scale and they need my help to scale farther. So that is $1,200 a month. Now, the question always comes up, well, what if this doesn't work for me? Right? Does anybody ever have that fear when you join any kind of program, any kind of mentorship? What if it doesn't work for me? So this is what I include. It's called the results or refund guarantee. If you don't get at least 2 listing appointments within the 90 days of following this program, now it's going to take you some time to actually get started, right? You're going to learn some stuff. You're going to get onboarded, all that. But when you say I'm starting calling in the first 90 days, if you do not get at least 2 listing appointments, I'll refund your entire investment and I coach you for free for the rest of the year. There's literally 0 risk, because what does that mean? 2 listings can result you in $20,000. And you see how inexpensive this program is, because my goal is not to make the most amount of money. My goal is to have the biggest faith-based program in the world. That's my goal, right? And it will get more expensive. However, that's an 1,805% return. That means every dollar you put in, you get $20 back. Anybody that doesn't want to do that just doesn't want to make money. That's the truth.
I mean, can I say I'm part of the VIP program, and with that first lake house listing, I got twice of it all back?
Yeah. Sheila, are you still on here?
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything?
It went to my car. Sorry, it went to my car. Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Sorry about that. So what did you ask?
I said, would you like to say anything?
Oh, yeah. So I'm just a simple agent, just a solo one, been doing this 7 years. And I paid for coaching before and didn't really get what I needed from the coaching. And it was a lot more money than I paid for this coaching. But he makes you do the work. It's not just, like if you're going to sit back and be like, no, like, I'm not going to do it. I'll pay the money, but then like not do it. That's not what this is about. Like, you're going to put your feet to the fire and he's going to make you do that. Like, it's not
true.
something that you're just going to sit back and be like, oh, I'm just going to sit back and not do nothing and not make the calls. He holds you accountable, which is part of a good coach, is holding you accountable. It's what I needed, and it's happening. So I was someone that was really looking for an accountable coach that was reasonable, and this is what I found. And not only that, but the community that we have, everybody's just there to help each other, and it is servant based. It is like, I wanted something that spoke to my spirit, and that's what I found here. And everybody's just so genuine and wanting to help each other. And like Nick said, the Tuesday and Thursday coaching is just incredible. It's actually getting in, doing the skills that you need to do. So I would say if you're gonna really want to get to be part of something that you're going to do the work in, this is actually the coach. Like I said, I paid for it before and it stunk. And I was like, I need to find somebody that's going to actually coach me. And Austin does. So just, if you can just take the little part of it And then if you really want to get involved, go to that next level where I'm at. And it's worth the investment. You have to invest in yourself in order to get better every day. So take that opportunity and do it now.
Appreciate it, Sheila. Thank you guys for speaking on that. You guys obviously didn't have to, so it means a lot. Now, I want to give you guys an opportunity right now. Okay, so there's 3 different things. I give you the prices already. Now, those prices are going to be there all the time. Okay, no matter what. However, I do want to offer you a bonus, for an action bonus for the agents who are going to be ready to take action, the masters, not the dabblers, the people who are like, I need to change something in my business and I want to do this. I'm going to do something for you guys today. Now, after this call, it's gone. Okay, it goes back to the normal prices, and it's still not bad. However, I'm going to knock down foundations from $89 a month to $39 a month for you guys. Okay, so it's only $39 a month. I also remove the 12-month commitment, so you do not have to worry about doing any kind of contract. You can cancel anytime. And I'm also including a free 7 days before deciding. So if you join, you have a free 7 days before you even start paying to test out the community. This is not included in the other one. All right, that's the foundations. In the academy, where I'm actually personally coaching you, I'm knocking it down from $350 to $199. All right, I'm also going to allow you to cancel anytime, give you free 7 days before deciding, and that includes the results or refund guarantee. Why can't I include that in foundations? Because I'm not actually coaching you. I don't know if you're doing the work, right? So if you're doing the work, I'm going to include the results or refund guarantee. Right. So who in here would want to actually say, I'll invest $199 and I'm guaranteed to get 2 listing appointments in the next 90 days? Like, who wouldn't want to do that except for the people who don't really want to call or don't really want to grow their business like this? Okay. And in VIP, I do offer VIP. I have 2 spots open. The thing is with that is we have to see if it aligns with the schedules and stuff, because I only have 2 spots open with that, but I'm including all of that with it. And I'm knocking it down another $200 to make it $997 a month. All right, so what I'm going to do, there's 3 options. Number 1, for those of you who aren't at EXP, I'll always include this. If you go to EXP, which I'm not trying to recruit you whatsoever, but I also train those agents for free. So if you join me at EXP, you don't pay for anything. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Laura, put that in there. This is an alignment call. So here's what I want you guys to do. Hold on, let me make sure I got the right links here. The alignment call, the first link that Laura put in there is if you're wanting to talk about the academy or the VIP. Okay, the academy or the VIP. Laura, the academy there, you don't click on that link because you want to schedule a call with me. Right? I'm pretty sure here. And there's the partner one. So if you want to just look at partner with me at EXP, you get my training for free. Schedule a call there. If you want to talk about the academy, then schedule a call with the alignment call up top. Okay. Now the foundations, if you want to join at $39 a month, it is set at $39 right this second, and you get the free 7 days. After this call, I'm turning it back up to $89. I'm taking off the 7 days. So go ahead and click on that and join in if you want to do the foundations. Again, this is literally no risk whatsoever. It's just for people that, most people don't want to do it. Right?
And
so
the foundations is video based, right? They'll go in there and they learn.
Yep, they go in there and learn. They have all the video based. We do meet once a month. With our first call is this Thursday. Actually, one of the calls is this Thursday. Awesome. That you have live. Every month we meet once a month.
That's how my social challenge is too. It's video based, and then we meet once a month.
Yep, and there's a lot of videos. Nick already told you there's a ton of stuff in this community.
There is. Anytime you have a question, we put it in the chat. We have a group chat. It's like, where's this? And he's like, boom, here, this module. It's like an encyclopedia. It's really impressive. Austin he's like a kid when it comes to AI. He is the first one to know about everything that comes out new AI, and then he implements it. It's really, really crazy. If you get to know him, he's like a CEO. It's really, really, his brain's really crazy. It's fast moving and very efficient. I'm not kidding.
Here we go. Sheila, what's up?
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to let everybody know, he talked about that AI bot that you can practice with. That's the Sales Go AI, where you actually, it's like you're talking to someone and they give you objections. And I'm telling you, it is a game changer, especially if like you can't role play with someone. if you can just get on that every day, you're gonna get better. And the last thing I'll say is I joined in, I think it was November or December, and I'm like, I'm never gonna get this. I'm never gonna get it. I'm just never gonna get it. It was a mindset shift that I had to make. And now I'm actually comfortable, and I never thought I would be. I was never a cold calling person, but I'm actually comfortable
And she's pretty good.
talking with people on the phone and just, yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd get here. So thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. So I think we had a couple people. Is anybody else? Because again, if you schedule a call with me, it'll be honored. This price will be honored if you schedule the call with me. If you don't show up to the call or you cancel and don't reschedule, then it's not going to be honored and we won't work together anyway. Because if you cancel or don't show up, I don't want to work with you anyway.
Amen to that. That's what I do. I literally turn people away, even from the Team Go organization. If they no show, you will never talk to me again. You disrespected my time. You had no consideration for my time to even just let me know that you can't make it. You will never talk to me again. Like, that's where our relationship died.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, everyone. The links are in the chat. We will also post them into Team Go. Can you honor these prices until the end of the day, Austin, so we can post them inside of the community for today?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, let me make sure to do this really quick. I'm going to put a timer, or I'm going to put a reminder on my phone. I'll honor it until 10 p.m. tonight.
Awesome. So then, team, can we please post all of these links into the community? Make sure with the deadline 10 p.m. tonight. And the recording, if you don't mind, stop sharing, Austin, if you don't mind. The recording for Team GoGo, it is going to be posted later tonight, depending how long it takes for us to download this, or by the end of day tomorrow. If you are Team GoGo, our trainings are always recorded and it's posted on our private YouTube channel. You just have to go to teamgogo.team and log in. If you don't know your login, the very first email you got when you joined us had your login credentials. Oh, thank you, Alan. Alan said she posted Thursday morning. So by tomorrow morning, you will have the recording in our private YouTube channel. So again, your credentials are in the very first email you got from us. Welcome to Team GoGo when you joined us. And just make sure that if you can, always make it live, because this way you can ask your questions. And if you can't make it live, yes, you can watch the recording the following day. If you're not with us, we do not share the recording. So your best bet is to show up to these open to the publics the last Wednesday of every month. And then again, tonight at 8 p.m., I'm doing a presentation about why not EXP, what it's like to partner with me, what it's like to partner with Austin. If you partner with Austin, you also partner with me, because Austin already partnered with me, just how it works at EXP. But either way, if you would like to see what it's like to always have trainings like this and be a part of a community like this where we train for free, come to the Why Not tonight at 8 p.m. and the team just put it into the link. I'm not a whole salesperson pitch. I will show you how EXP changed my life. I will show you what the model is like. I will show you what a commission is like before capping, what it's like after capping. I will show you what it's like to earn your cap back, right? Because in the end of the day, why to pay a brokerage if you can earn it back when you're a top producing agent? I'll show you what it's like to actually have a retirement plan and have stocks in the company that you work for. And then we'll talk about revenue share, because there's multiple ways we can make money at EXP. And then you can ask me anything you want to know about the Team GoGo organization, about EXP, our international family of agents. We are in 46 different states and in 7 different countries. I don't know if, yes, Radek is still here. Hi, Radek. So Radek is all the way in Poland and he's a Team GoGo agent. So we call ourselves the Hi, Radek, international family of agents. So I would love to show you guys who we are. If you're interested, come tonight at 8 o'clock. I will have a glass of wine in hand. I will show you the model, answer your questions. And then at the end, you have a decision to make to see if you want to join us. And then you'll name the person who invited you here today as your sponsor. So if you come tonight to the presentation, your sponsor will be the person who invited you to attend, not me, right? Like the person that invited you. If it's me, of course, but if somebody else invited you here, that would be your sponsor. So that's it for today. Again, save this date in your calendar, the last Wednesday of every month at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We do these trainings that we call open to the public. So everyone is welcome, with the idea for you guys to see who we are and then see if you want to join us or not. If not, you can always just join the open to the public at the end of the month. You just won't get full trainings with everything else that we offer. That's it. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon. Austin, you are amazing. Oh, before we hang up, If you want to unmute yourself or put it in the chat, how you loved Austin's amazing training. Give him some love so he knows that he's loved and appreciated. Amazing, actually, said Karen. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. Appreciate you.
It was awesome, said Nicholas. Rashni is giving you hugs. Thanks, Austin. Amazing.
Yep.
Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Austin.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Gogo. Talk soon.
Thank you, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.